memories. Welcome. Welcome to another
Hey,
episode of a Candor Gander, where we meet our DFK community one person at a time. Today's Saturday. I'm finally back. Turn up on the up and up here on my end. If you've never joined us before, feel free to grab a drink, take a seat, and welcome to the flock. Consider a like, a subscribe, turn on those notifications, follow me on Twitter. We'll go ahead and get started here with our guest, but before we do so, I'm gonna go ahead and just yeah, start us off with a quote here. Um, the best thing one can do when it's raining, is let it rain sometimes. Henry Longfellow. We'll go ahead and try and weave that into the conversation here. Um, and without further ado, our guest today, around Cloud 7. Around
hey,
Cloud
hey.
7. Tell me about yourself. How are you doing?
Oh man, it's definitely been an interesting week, but overall life is definitely getting better. So cannot
Good.
complain. Um, so short story, Texan that just moved up to Michigan almost a year now. Definitely a change. Switched from a heavy technical server engineer background, and now I'm a CNC operator. And looking forward to some Jewel financial freedom here pretty soon.
Oh, I hear you. I hear you. So for those of us who aren't familiar with the term, so CNC operator, what is that? What do you do?
Okay, so CNC operator is a computer numerical code. That's CNC, but basically I put large pieces of metal into a machine, program it to cut away exactly what I need for precision parts. Um, my first 3 weeks on the job, I made parts for SpaceX rockets. So
Wow,
um,
that's
yeah,
pretty
can't
cool.
tell you what part, but if something explodes, it wasn't me.
They'll blame it on the new guy nonetheless.
Exactly.
So crazy. I mean, it's interesting. I feel like I'm in California. I see a lot of people flocking to Texas. You're probably one of those few people who left Texas for somewhere else.
Yeah, the influx of Californians, nothing against them. Everybody has the right to come to a better place, and Texas, by all means, is a much better place in my opinion. But I definitely got priced out pretty quick.
Oh, I hear you, man. It's crazy. I mean, I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry for anyone who's been priced out by any Californians.
Well, like I said, life's getting better. Me and my pregnant wife at the time were in a basically one and a half bedroom for
Wow.
1,300. No utilities, no nothing, just rent 1,300. And now we have a
Wow.
three-bedroom home, rent, utilities, food, everything for like $1,000. So we're definitely making
My
steps.
my oh my. No, I mean that's an improvement for sure. And I have my 10-month-old um and I just think there's no amount of space that'll ever be big enough for us. We could have a 10,000
Absolutely.
square foot compound and it wouldn't feel big enough.
I definitely have dreams for my own parcel. I'm big on my grandfather was a big influence on my life.
We dropped off on us here. Go ahead and pick them up. And Mr. Around Cloud 7 experienced some uh, power outages in his area. He was letting me know. So he's on his phone. Gonna try and jump back in. We've been testing off and on, so we'll see. And if not, you get the Sergeant Filthy McNasty hour. I don't suspect that'll be the thing though. Anyhow, give it a few minutes here. Wait till he comes back in. But yeah, no. So to recap the conversation thus far, he's uh, Texan who's moved over to Michigan. Him and his family trying to start anew, trying to make it. big, looking for that wealth independence, and aren't we all? I know crypto market as a whole has been pretty bad. I think of late, certainly today dropped down under 20K. Talking to my brother was texting me last night. He's like, "Oh, hey, Bitcoin under 20. Time to buy in. Maybe." um, After some time, it's a bit tiring, sort of picking up, falling knives. I'm sure you all feel it, but anyhow, we'll give AroundCloud7 a few minutes. If not, we'll go ahead and um, maybe postpone or reschedule something here. I feel like this episode's cursed. Last time around, last week, it was me with my cold antibiotics. Wasn't it cold? It turned into an infection. Antibiotics kicked in. They're doing me well. And now we're at week 4 of being sick. Certainly on the way up. Um, we'll see. We'll give him just another minute or two. See what he's got for us here. Anyhow, thank you all very much for joining here. Let me just send him a quick message, see if he's gonna jump back in. All right, anyhow. Perfect. So, like I said, give him a couple minutes, see if he can jump back in. If not, we'll go ahead and postpone back when power gets back to this area. I will go ahead and just post this quote again. Sort of interesting. The best thing one can do when it's raining is just let it rain. And this is one of those, right, where it's just raining. Both, maybe not literally, but definitely figuratively. I think we've got you back on around Cloud7.
Just
There we
no,
go. I got you. Can you hear me now?
but no, I can hear you, but you can't hear me.
I can hear you. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Okay.
Awesome. Welcome back.
Well, hey, there's a face docs for you.
Well, you've not. I'm happy to face dox you if you want, but
Do it. It's a treat for some technical difficulties.
there you go. All right, you guys ready? At the count of 3, we're gonna go ahead and face dox Mr. RoundCloud7. All right, 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Look at him. Look at him go. That's him. That's him in the flesh. Handsome
Hey,
hugger.
everybody.
We've got Mr.
Oh,
Senjuro
appreciated.
on the call. Kirby feet. Oh boy.
Sinji.
All right, yes. So we were chatting about some of the technical difficulties we're having. You had some power outages. Um, let's just dive in. Tell me about your crypto experience. How did you get into crypto?
So I started with investing with Robinhood,
Mm-hmm.
and then through Robinhood, watching the Doge spike. That was I guess that was my entry into crypto, which paid off a little bit. I didn't really lose, so I lucked out. But the big heartbreak that I have is the Shiba Inu. Um, I caught that one just as a this is stupid at point oh 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 whatever
Right.
the fuck it was,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I put $5 in it, and then like 6 months later it was at like 200. I don't know. It had grown a bunch, and me and my wife were in a tough spot, and we couldn't really. It was like, damn, yeah, we got to pull that out and use it. And then I hear the news at the end of 2022. Anybody that had $4 in it is now $4 million.
No. 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 Oh boy, that's
So,
tough. That's
if any of y'all know or have seen
tough.
Rocky in the Discord, he is a real good buddy of mine, and he was my intro into DFK, and that has been my sole heartfelt project. I have branched out a fraction since then, but 99% of everything I have is the love that I have for DFK.
So we've got a very important question from one of our tried and true DFK members here. Sanju's asking, all right, we all know you love the Goose. How do you feel about the Kirby feet?
So, em- I guess embracing the Kirby feet has been a growth. I do still have my two little Kirby warriors to fight back the feet. Um, but yeah, Kirby feet is definitely an ally as long as they play by the rules.
There you go. There you go. No, I love it. So you were telling me about your entry to DFK. So tell me a bit more about that. At what point did you get in?
So I think it was. I'm thinking. No, because August was when y'all started. So I'm thinking November because I think jewel price was right around 6.
Oh
So
wow.
definitely a lot better than some of the heartbreak stories I've heard. But those of y'all that jumped in at 22, I'm here with y'all for the long haul. I'm not going anywhere.
Hey, you know what? I was one of the first ones. So I got in at 18. I think I've said this before, and I've been one of those ones who was like, "Hey, I love the game. Point of entry is terrible. Like, what are we gonna do about the little guy? Come on, like, please, do something." And they were talking about doing some scholarship program, and I forget they weren't
Yeah,
calling it that, but that was sort of the spirit of it, right? Um,
yeah. The initial grant program was definitely a very interesting step.
Yeah, and now for $100, you could get yourself a fleet of heroes. You could get some good heroes for like under $100.
Ooh,
Sort of a yin and a
I
yang. Tell me
I
about.
finally,
Yeah,
after 3 days of no power, was able to get $30 in,
yeah.
and my first summon with the help of Crypto Baby and Driftwood helping me find a match. I ended up summoning a rare warrior miner with endurance blue boost, and
Wow.
yeah, it was a pretty
You know,
good
I
morning after
I
not
think
having power.
I think I saw you post that in the Gen chat. It was a pretty badass sort of move.
It's
And
it's a good looking card.
I hear you. Kupo's making a point here, and it's sort of an interesting one. Yeah, I mean, yeah, $22, sort of a tough entry point. But if you've not been in crypto, I think of, the person who entered, who bought Bitcoin at 69,000, right? And now that's under 20. Or the person who, I mean, I feel bad, right? The person who bought into Terra Luna, the person who bought into Celsius, all these other projects too. Um, um, Crypto's an interesting mistress, right? When she's good, she
Fickle.
loves you, but she can hit you back like nobody, nobody
Yep.
else can.
It might be honeymoon and daydreams, and the next day she takes your bank.
I know, yeah, and yep, Kupo absolutely. For me, it's all about the DCA. I always go back to where was the project when I got in versus where is it now. If you look
Hmm.
at it on paper, the project today looks better than it did at $22. Now the price, you know, certainly doesn't look nice. But you
But
go
that's
and you
wholly
think,
the market,
oh
because
yeah,
the
oh yeah,
project as a whole, yeah, it's glorious. I mean, the developers, what is it? It's we're basically forcing them to put out new content, and now it's every 2 weeks, right?
right,
But
right,
that's
yeah,
still
absolutely.
unheard of in any other industry. So the fact that they're keeping up with it almost flawlessly, in my opinion. I'm loving duels right now.
And I'm liking duels too. I mean, and we can get into a bit more of that here in a minute. But I really want to make this portion about you. Let's talk more about Around Cloud 7. We're gonna go ahead and share some pictures you were kind enough to share
Yeah.
with us. So, tell us about this little guy.
All right.
He's your
So,
Pookie.
okay. So that's my little buddy Dazen. He is a Pit Weimaraner mix that I love
Wow.
terrifying people with solely because it's their own misconceptions of pit bulls. If you
Yeah,
get within 30 feet of him, he'll do that dead sprint pit bull run at you.
yeah.
But he's developed a habit where when he's 5 feet away, he will jump, spin midair, and do a baseball slide right up next to you.
Oh man.
It's amazing. He's
Uh,
the biggest dork and the biggest pain in my ass.
Oh, but you gotta love them when they're great, and then when they really pee you off, it's like,
Yeah.
but I love you.
The the biggest thing is he is the biggest cuddle bug with my 1.5 year old, and just he's a protector. So I love having him.
Absolutely. When you said Pitbull Weimaraner, my first thought was, what a ball of energy that dog must be.
Oh, endless energy and endless licks. He does not stop licking.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Oh man, no, what a cutie. And not pictured, but tell me a bit. Yeah, so we were talking about some of your passions here. And you told me guns, but specifically, you're like into like competitive shooting. Like, and how does that work? How does that work? How do you, and not only competitive shooting, but you're like, hey, let me bet you $5 I can hit that target, and then let me take your money while I'm at it.
So my favorite one, you can look it up. It's called the Buffalo Bill Shootout, and
Mm.
it uses um, period accurate firearms. So it's usually I use a Sharps rifle, and it's a point. I think it's almost a quarter mile target is like the standard like entry. Like if you can hit that, you can compete, and I love doing that. Just pure iron sights, quarter mile shot, just firing it, waiting 3 seconds, and hearing that ding is just it's a
Ooh,
rush.
ooh, yeah, and I
But
will say that. So, is that a 22? Or is that what do you shoot
no,
that with?
that is a big bullet.
No way. So I will
um,
tell you, super impressive because I've shot guns too, and I've done handguns, and you think they're like, oh, it's smaller, it's easier. No, they're not. They're so hard to, like, if you want to be proficient. I mean, it's really impressive to hear someone who's a sharpshooter with and anything sort of like that, because it's like, wow. And not only are you a
also,
sharpshooter, you're a you're you're good enough to be able to take people's money for it.
pretty much. So, like I started when my grandfather gave me that single action. So I got into single action shooting competitions because I would just go out back on the ranch with the leaf cactus,
Yeah.
and I would practice drawing from the hip and just take out individual leaves on the cactus. So my grandfather said, there's a place where you can compete. So it turned into going 4 or 5 times a year and dueling other people with wax rounds, but still, that's a real firearm.
Yeah, no, I think of I don't know if you may have seen the movie Back to the Future.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, so I can't remember. I think it's part two or three. Part three, where they're doing the Marty McFly is doing the old shootout with practicing, and well, I guess they do some of that in part two. They tease it out.
Yeah,
Um,
with the little arcade machine.
yeah, 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 yeah. Man, I mean, what a skill. But all right, so let's move on to the outdoors. We've got a
Yeah,
picture here you shared with us. So it looked like maybe home, your backyard, maybe.
that is my backyard.
Wow.
Well, so that's my backyard that meets up with a very rich and wealthy rancher's field. So that is not all mine.
But it's impressive, and I think of I live in the suburbs. Seeing open space like this, when I see open space like this, to me it's like you're in the wilderness, you're out in the wild, you're out in the open, sort of breathe in that fresh air and take it in and enjoy it. Um, is that sort of maybe the atmosphere you grew up in Texas, or was it a complete sort of like night and day for you?
So I I was born on the coast, Gulf Coast. So I had a coastal upbringing that kind of beach every day, but that was up until third or fourth grade, so just a kid. And from there, that being growing up on the coast, my family had ranch land like 2 hours away. So we would go to school, we would go to the beach, but then we would be at the ranch. So the outdoors, open air, that was my upbringing. And then we moved to the city, and I developed all of those kind of assimilations, I guess.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
but yeah, through and through country, open spaces and air with a neighbor 3 miles down. That's where I'm at.
I could throw a rock at my neighbor, probably literally. I mean, I'd have to step out of the
Yeah,
house because then it'd be impressive
that's a little.
otherwise.
That's a
So
bit better.
yeah, no, so you're a general outdoorsman. I'm quite impressed by the people I've talked to who are outdoors people, and I sort of joke because I feel like the crypto space as a whole, and maybe it's the DFK Gen Chat, right? We live there, we spend some time there, and it's like, oh, go touch some grass, go outside, go, you're a recluse, but everyone I talk to really loves the outdoors. What about the outdoors do you like?
Uh, so, well, let's cycle that quote in. Sometimes when it rains, you just gotta let it rain.
Yeah,
Uh, there's nothing like a good rainstorm in a tent. That's the best night's sleep, the most relaxing zen place I can think of. Is just sound machines don't do it justice. Yeah, just a
no,
beautiful
yeah.
thunderstorm is a miracle to have. Unfortunately, it also just took out my power for 2 days, but sacrifices.
You're trading your loss of power for my lack of being able to water my grass these days. So we're in California where every other day is a drought. So yeah, so unlike you, I don't have the luxury of being able to go outside in that tent and letting it rain. I do
Yeah,
the artificial rain on the phone, and it's not the same.
no.
um,
Uh,
so let's circle
I
back.
gotta say
Yeah.
the smells. Yeah,
Oh
definitely the
yeah, yeah,
smells.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I live
Yeah, I'm big on
like a
smells.
mile or two. Oh no, yeah, no, I hear you. Smells sort of make that experience, right? Um, I live like a mile or two from the freeway, so I think of the smells, different smells than your smells, but I'll take it.
I'll send
um,
you a candle.
oh yes, please, I'll take them. I'll take them. Tell me about your DFK Discord, not the Gen Chat. You've got another one you're a part of, and not the Goose
Oh,
channel.
so I have patronized Vigo's raffle channels. I the him and Eternal have been doing a beautiful service to uh, current and well-off players, but new players with very little income. You have chance of doing like a 2 jewel entry and getting a 250 jewel hero. So um, if you think the DFK Tilted Tuesdays are, I mean, they're much better odds than any lottery you'll ever have.
Yeah,
Vigo's odds are even higher than that. So
yeah.
um, we've actually done, if y'all are on DFK right now, or the on Discord, you can go over to Vigo's channel right now, and down on the left you'll see a AroundCloud7 scavenger hunt channel. So at probably at the end of this, I'll be posting a list, and everybody can follow the instructions, post your pictures, and the top 3 people to find all or the fastest will get a free entry into one of Vigo's raffles.
I love it. I love it. Now, this is no formal endorsement of Beagle's raffles. I will say as a disclaimer, I am a member. I've partaken in one raffle. Sort of just another mix of DFK DJs sort of like to hang out and sort of. I think there's a gambler inside of all of us. Otherwise, none of us would be in crypto. So
Absolutely.
it's fun to sort of just be part of something. But yeah, no, absolutely. If you want to check it out, feel free to do so. I'll go ahead and drop a link here on, in the chat. I mean, in the chat box
Appreciate
in a
it.
minute. But tell me about your scavenger hunts. And I'm a big fan of trivia questions, and you can see that through the shows I do. But you're a big fan of scavenger hunts. Where did that come from? Why scavenger hunts?
So scavenger hunts actually came from my love of trivia. So when I got into the DFK Discord channel and I saw the True Hero role, I started thinking, what is some way that I can stand out and really get myself known in the community? And what better than doing the AC7 games? So first we started with trivia games, moved up to picture riddles. Um, Picture riddles turned into more riddles and trivia. And then finally, I was like, you know what? What's a good way to get people up and moving rather than just being able to search Google or type in an answer, but really have to hop up and look for stuff, but a scavenger hunt. So I think the first one that we did was like 7 items, and they got it in I think 4 minutes, and it
Wow.
blew my mind. So uh, like you having a 7 to 15 to 26, but yeah, all you DJs out there, I think the max has been like 15 minutes. Y'all are fast.
No, that's great. We've got a shout out for you from good old pal here, Dinik.
Dinick.
He's in the chat here. Shout out. We'll go ahead and move on to our next segment here, which is a reflection pond. So the way the reflection pond works is go ahead and spin a wheel, pick a question that's not related to DFK, sort of a random question. Just, hear your response, hear your take. Let's go ahead and spin that wheel and see what this question entails here. So we're spinning our wheel. Oh, what's your
Mm.
favorite? You may have answered this already, but what's your favorite game to play? And I will say, scavengers hunts aside.
Oh man. You know what? I'm gonna throw a wrench in here. I doubt y'all have ever heard of this game, but it is ICP's, the Insane Clown Posse's board game, The Road to Shangri-La.
Okay, what is that? And tell me about it.
Uh, so, being from Texas, I had no idea who the Insane Clown Posse was, but coming up here and meeting my wife's family, it's the Juggalos. It's a rap group. They do some pretty decent music actually, but it's definitely an insane culture. But the artist from ICP developed a board game that is unlike anything I've ever played. It's got like 36 character cards, 4 different decks because you have to go through the levels. The final, you pick a random card for the final boss, and it can range anywhere from someone super hard to beat to everyone instantly loses, and it's priceless. But you could buy it in 2007 for $35 right now on Amazon or eBay. It's probably a $450 board game.
Wow. Wow, that I had not heard of it, and I love my board games, so I will have to check it out now.
I wish you the best of luck. It's very hard to find.
All right, so I have to move on to my next segment here, and you were asking me, you were trying to sort of gauge whether or not these questions would be hard or not. I've said it before. I've had to step up my game. I don't know if you can get all three. If you can, kudos to you. If you get 2 out of 3, I'm
I don't know.
impressed. Um, so we'll see. We'll see. And so the way we'll play. Are you faster than our guest? You got three questions. Around Cloud 7 is gonna take a stab at the question, see if he gets it right. You at home can play along, see if you can get it right. If you do get it right, Mythic bragging rights on the line. You can go ahead and brag about how you beat Around Cloud 7. You can type in your answer. Oftentimes in the past, the answers don't show up quick enough because of the delay.
I don't know.
But
I'm gonna
we'll
be pretty slow. They've got a chance.
all right, so we'll start easy and they progress. So we'll see. This is the easy question. Question one. What three new classes were introduced with Christabel?
All right, so that's gonna be the shapeshifter, the berserker, and the seer.
Bingo. Bingo. Correct. You're 1 for 1 so far. All right, number two. And again, it's gonna get harder. We'll see. We'll see. The multi-sig wallet is controlled by 5 members of the project. Any transaction requires how many of those signatures to be able to execute a transaction?
3.
Yeah. Wow. How'd you know that?
It just makes sense. 3 out of 5 is majority.
I guess it does make sense. I was gonna be mean and I was gonna say how many total,
Uh,
but okay, all right. No, yeah, that's touche. Yeah, 3 out of 5. Yeah. All right, 2 for 2. Let's see if you can knock it out of the park. How many crystals were pre-minted at CV
oh
launch?
my god. Oh, how many crystals were pre-minted? 100K?
No, 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 no. Anyone in the chat box will give it a second. No, too. Not 100K. It was 3 million.
Oh,
3 million.
wow.
Yeah, 3 million crystals were pre-minted.
Well, I'm
Um,
glad I didn't say my first guess because then I would have been just really embarrassed.
what was your first guess? Now you gotta say it.
10K.
No, that's good. That's good. No, I like it. Yeah. Yeah, no, actually, Sinjuro's right. So 420,069. I'm just kidding.
Yep. I mean, it is the Lord's number.
Sanjuro is never wrong.
Nope.
All right, so let's move on to our next segment. Um, what did the fox say? Now, and this is a segment where we just talk about general DFK news, anything you've heard recently. A lot to be able to chat about, but I'm gonna leave it up to you around Cloud7. Any specific topic you want to touch on before maybe I pick at something? And it could be just anything in general.
I'm loving duels. I mean, the recent update. My first experience into it was again with Vigo.
Yeah.
Me and him were just joking around. He's like, "Hey, let's do a private duel," and
So
set
who
it
won?
up. And it took. I actually won. He
Did you?
said he took it easy on me. He said he took it easy on me.
So what did you guys do?
But
Was it a 1v1, 3v3 war? What did you do?
so I sent him a request for a 1v1 and he sent me a request for a 3v3 and I won both of them. So
Wow. Wow. Okay.
I
So
I've got I lucked into a Fisher squad that apparently is right now I think they're 9 for 12. Doing
not
pretty good.
bad. Not too shabby. So I have to ask you then, what's your what do you think in your opinion right now for duels is your best hero?
Right now, so it's probably my Sage. I have a PJ Sage that has 3 stats at 20 or above.
Wow.
So he does pretty good, but his that random if you happen to get luck on him, he dies.
Yeah. Boy. As far as your favorite hero then, how many heroes do you have now? I mean, it was a conversation we were all having in Gen Chat. It blew up from like I have 2 to I have 200 heroes for some people.
Yeah, I think I went from 7. I think when it hit $4 because I had bought in a little bit more. I went up to 7 heroes. But as of this morning, with that endurance minor, I think I'm at 15.
Okay. Not bad, not bad. I have to ask you because I know another conversation we were all having. 15 heroes for you, is that manageable?
It's getting tough. Um, I've done a good job of grouping. I've got 8 minors, so doing a solid 6 quest out and in every 4 hours. Those guys do good, and then the top two, I usually use those for training quests. So that's not too difficult. Um, but yeah, I can definitely understand if you've got like 12 foragers or something like that, and you're having to do 6 and then go over to your fishers as well. Those I'm not sure if I'm ready to trust those auto questing tools yet, but I've heard some good reports. But the
Yeah,
wife,
yeah.
I can definitely see the annoyance on the wife's face when it's give 1 more minute. I'm almost done questing.
Oh my God, no, no kidding. I just think to myself, wow, um, you know, Purple, I think, has 200 and like 30 some heroes, and I just think to myself, I don't know how you quest those effectively, right? Um, I have a
Have you
hard
seen Three Wolves Moths?
dude. That guy, I don't know if he's on today. That guy, I have to tell
Oh
you
my
a
god.
story. I've been saving it for when he jumps on, and he hasn't jumped on, as of yet. We haven't been able to coordinate something. I love the guy. The guy's like a true DFK DJ, like you've never seen anyone at the height of the DFK FUD. So we're talking, everyone's freaking out. Some of you tried. I was shook. I wasn't sure. I
And
was, I
Three
didn't.
Wolves was taking the high dive.
Dude, that guy. We have a Goose chat, and people are like, "Oh, what are you doing? What do you think? What's going on?" He jumps into the conversation. He's like, anyone got a page 8 they want to trade for? And I was like, oh my God, that's just hilarious.
Just yeah, full degen mode all the time. Just yeah, constant hustling and absolutely in my mind epitomizes the drive that is behind the community.
No,
If you could equate the love for the game that the community has for a whole, yeah, Three Wolves is definitely the picture that you put next to it.
I know, absolutely. No, but in many respects, he's sort of doing it right, right? I've talked to him
Very,
before, and I
very
go, hey,
smart.
what's your strategy? What are you doing? He's like, I just want to win. I just want to be the best. I mean, it's commendable, right? I mean, it's like, who doesn't want to be the best? And I can say I want to be the best, but this guy's like, he's on top of it, right? And I'm sure anyone here has sort of maybe had interactions with him, but I think of like your tried and true, like, you know, DFK players. Like, doesn't matter if the market's up or down. You just do you. And I saw him take advantage of some awesome opportunities when people were at their lowest, right?
Yeah.
And that's sort of the way it is for me right now with the way the market's trading, with the way Jules trading. It's like I could sit here and mope around, or hey, you know what? Try and go for that awesome hero. Try and find that awesome hero. Because
So
I have full faith in the project. I think it'll come back, and when it does, I want to be ready
I see this as the great
for
purge.
it. Right, right,
Us going from 22, skyrocketing basically back down to where we are now, and watching all of those heavy investors fud out and disappear. And now, with the price so low, you can get everyday people that will stick with the project and enjoy playing rather than just seeing this as a numbers for my bank.
right.
So um, this turnaround is definitely a point. If you haven't already, if you've got some that you can, I did my best to average out. That's the one non-financial advice. If you if you're able to average out right now, the price is amazing to do so.
Yeah, no, no, yeah, I was gonna say NFA, but yeah, I mean, if you were gonna
All NFA.
DCA, why not now? Now's a great price. At this point, I don't know what my, you know, DCA priced in, jewel amount is. I guess I could have done a better, you know, I could have tracked it better to find out what my overall jewel price is for each jewel. But it's not $22 anymore. I've taken the
Yeah.
opportunity to DCA. At this point, it's like, hey, you know what? $20 can go a long way. Put $20 in there and sort of let it ride. Um, again, NFA, but I keep talking to my brother. One of these days I'm gonna reel him in. It's like, hey, and every time he's interested, but he doesn't want to do the deep dive. He's more of a cautious investor. And I say that, it was tongue in cheek because he was one of those like Dogecoin sort of investors who was also into Sheeb. And it's like, how
Yeah.
cautious are you really?
Yeah.
um, so let's talk some other stuff. You know what? As far as the future of DFK, there's a lot sort of planned out. What's one of those things that just really got you, going? And I know PvP, PvE, but even sooner than that, what sort of got you really excited about the near future?
Oh man, what hooked me? I gotta say, I said everybody says the summoning is the addictive drug, but it took me so long to summon, so I can't really say that. Um, it 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 has to be the community. I mean, you can play the game all you want, but if you don't know other players, it's the same as playing online games. Why would you want to play Rocket League against three computers again and again and again when you can hook up with three buddies and talk shit all night?
And it's so true. I when I think about why I wanted to start this podcast, it's really easy to sort of. I was a big proponent of wanting the team to dox, right? And when they did that, I was like, hey, you know what? They've gone ahead and they've doxed. Why not chat with people? And I'm sure they're all willing and sort of wanting to sort of chat it up and sort of get to know each other. Why not sort of jump in there and sort of toss yourself out there and get to know the community, get to know the person behind that Discord handle.
Yep.
And you get to know these people, and it's very much one of those like, hey, you know what? There is a human, behind every person, behind every name.
Oh
They've
no, my
got
phone's
they've.
dying.
Oh no! Oh no! We'll go ahead and see
Uh,
see see how long we hold out for.
I have it
Um,
plugged in. Give me 2 seconds to boot it back up.
No worries, no worries. We'll go ahead and hang out for a sec. But like I was saying, it's one of those things where I'm very much sort of into the community. You really can't buy that. And I'm most impressed with the fact that a lot of us have just stuck around, right? I see, every so often you get someone who jumps in, starts flooding, and you'll have everyone sort of try and walk the person through like, well, let's be rational about what you're saying. How true is your statement? Where are your facts? Um, and I really think it's gonna be one of those things that the communities go ahead and we're gonna rise together is really what I think. Well, we'll find out. Time will tell. We'll go ahead and give AroundCloud7 here, maybe a minute or two to get his phone plugged in. In the interim, something else I wanted to mention about something I'm excited for, and I don't know if you all are excited for this. The land tournament conversation, or the potential here. That's not too far from now. I mean, I know. I think it's. If I'm not mistaken. I think it's Q3 is when it's scheduled to launch. It's not something we're talking about as a whole, and maybe something we're overlooking. I know there's the question of utility. What's the utility behind the land tournament? But really, it's one of those things I'm excited about. It'll make things like guilds a bit more practical, a bit more interesting. Um, looking at my notes from one of the AMAs that was had a while back ago. We were talking about, once it lands there, as far as utility goes, there's a lot of sort of things that are going to intertwine with that, right? Travel system that'll be inherently built in, the guild piece that's going to come into play, being able to build on that land, being able to harvest, resources within that land. It'll be interesting. We'll see what that ends up looking like. I like duels, but I think for me, I'm more excited about the land component of things. We'll go ahead and give around Cloud 7 a minute here more, but anyone else here in the chat box care to chime in and see maybe what they're interested in? Um, what's sort of exciting you? What's keeping you around? I know the markets are down as a whole, but what's got you driven? What's got you going? PvP, we've had conversations about that, and I know it's not sort of a lot of stuff up in the air, but something that was sort of teased out as that, at the very least, as a conversation piece, that they're having conversations about this in the background. The idea of like co-oping, being able to co-op and like around Cloud 7 was saying, not just not just playing by yourself or playing with bots, but being able to play with someone like around Cloud 7. We've got him back on. We've got him back on here. Let me go ahead and put you back on.
Yay, quick chargers.
There we go. There we go. I think I hear you. I hope our audience can hear you.
So I apologize.
There we go.
Alrighty.
Yeah, so we were chatting about some of the things that are interesting us. I talked about land. We talked about you were
That's better.
chatting about the community. I was mentioning the whole co-op thing, maybe being able to play with you at some point around Cloud 7, right? The whole guild piece. Any final remarks as things that are exciting you about the project before we move on to our next segment?
So the geese already know, but when DFK started mentioning the prospect of guilds and buildings and stuff along those lines, that's when I really started looking for a good group. And the geese were there, and I jumped in on it. But with that notion, I wanted to have the concept of like champion programs and the ability to have my heroes, your heroes, and another friend. They could go out for like those 9v9 wars.
Right.
Because some people don't have 9 heroes, but those 9v9 rewards are nice.
Oh
So
yeah. Oh
um,
yeah.
yeah, definitely I'd love to see that. Those buildings are really going to be fun, I think, and it's going to throw some interesting aspects.
It'll definitely be interesting to say the least. We'll go ahead and end this uh, chapter of the conversation and move on to sort of my other favorite game here, Duck Duck Goose. All right, around Cloud 7. I think you've seen me play this before, but for those of
Yup.
you who aren't familiar with it, Duck Duck Goose, two ducks, one goose, so two lies, one truth. It is up to you around Cloud 7 and you, the audience, to figure out which one is the goose, the true fact, in these three statements. So we'll go ahead and sort of, and I'll let you do it the way you want. I've had some people sort of wait to the end. We can go ahead and sort of play it along the way, and then maybe you can commit at the end. But we'll go ahead and get started here. So see if I can stump you. I think everyone's gotten it right so far. If I'm not mistaken. Question one. About 250,000 gold was used to craft potions yesterday. That a duck,
That's,
that goose. You want to answer now? Do you want to reserve your
oh
thoughts
no
here for
no
the
no!
end?
Yeah, we're gonna go all the way. I'm gonna hear
All
all of
right.
them.
All right. Number two, there was about 25% of jewel that has not been allocated. Number
Hmm.
three, there were 4,000 4,953 jewels spent leveling up heroes this last week.
4,000. That was 4,000, 1,100.
So 4,953 jewels spent leveling up heroes this last week.
Nah, that sounds weak.
Do you think that's a duck? What about the other two?
You know what? I think number two is our golden goose. So number one's going to be a duck. Number three is a duck. And our
Okay.
goose is in the middle.
You know what? We are. I don't know how many videos I've done so far. I think it might be seven, but I think we're 7 for 7. That's
Woo!
right. That's right. Yes. So, there is 25% of Jewel has not been allocated as of yet. So that's about 120 million Jewel that's sort of up in the air, not minted, not no one owns it. The two ducks, we actually had 2,500,000 gold used to craft potions yesterday.
That
That
sounds
sounds like a
much
lot of
better.
gold. And we had 10,000, almost 10,500 jewels spent leveling up heroes last week. Um,
Yeah, way to go, guys.
yeah. So of those three statements, or facts, what sort of jumps at you? What sort of interesting there for you?
I love hearing that level up jewel cost. The fact that people are actively growing and growing and growing. And uh, I wish that that first stat would have been how much gold was spent crafting stones. Because yeah, that's stone carver. That's a nice little entry into there.
That's where it's at. You know what? I I personally refuse to summon a hero if he doesn't have a stone. I I
It's
and I'm
not a
sort of,
bad play.
it's not a bad play. It also helps me so that I'm not like wanting to summon every day because I have to wait. I have to collect all those resources and then wait for the stone carver to open up. Um, so it's sort of a good way to sort of keep myself on check. No, no, thanks for playing. Let's go to some closing remarks around Cloud 7. Uh, what are your, what would you tell someone who's either new to the game, or an existing player? Sort of words of advice.
Hmm. So right now, I will say just from my own goals right now, I just moved a couple heroes that I may have put in a lot of work into. I moved I think two level sixes and a level five that have been with me since I started the game, but their growth scores were pretty low. So with the market down where it is, I expect to be in this game for a long time. But just from a goal point of view, 2 years. So I'm looking for growth potential in new heroes. So DFK Analytics is a great tool trying to find those class scores and growth scores with one or above. No, I'm trying to keep everything zero point 0.8 and below out of my wheelhouse.
And that's such a great sort of statement. We talk about how many heroes there are, and I've mentioned this before. I think of, okay, so we have over 200,000 heroes, but out of those 200,000 heroes, how many quality heroes do you have? How
Right.
many how many quality heroes do you actually have? And I don't know the number. And I think that the word quality sort of, my version of quality might be different than your version, right? Some people like sort of stat sort of matches there. Blue endurance, green strength for a warrior miner, for example. But I know there's others who's like, oh, hey, I don't care about profession. I want the class and the stats sort of match up, right?
That's
Um,
exactly how I started playing. Everybody had to be uh, if they were a forager, you had to have foraging profession and your stats had to be aligned with foraging. And looking back now, that it, I'd say detrimental.
Yeah, well, you know what? You had a strategy. My strategy, what was, what can I buy? Um, I will say that your strategy is much more, it makes more sense. It's grounded on something versus like, oh, that looks cool. Um, um, with that said, around Cloud 7, it's been a pleasure. I know thanks for battling through some, internet sort of issues here. We'd love to have you back, chat up some more, recurring guests for sure. Um,
Absolutely.
Chat up some other stuff, and then if you want to do one final plug for your raffle and sort of recap what you're doing there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that. So again, here in just a minute, I will post. I guess I'll do it in DFK Discord in general chat. I'll throw it up there. That way, everybody has a chance. Um, Instructions will be on it. Uh, just head over to Vigo's channel once you do as many or all of them and post your pictures. And I will choose the first three winners and I will let you know as soon as I can.
Awesome, thank you. Now I've gone ahead and posted that link in the chat again.
Oh,
Again,
wow.
no formal endorsement, but I do like to plug away what our guests are working on and doing. I think it's awesome that we're all invested in some form or fashion. I just want to close with a final statement here. If you've not subscribed to the channel, if you're not following me on Twitter, please feel free to do so. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers here on YouTube. If we get to 100, we'll do a pet giveaway, maybe a goose, maybe a hero. I don't know. Um, so we'll see. I know. Whoa, goose maybe.
I want the
And if
goose.
yeah, no, and if you want to be a guest on the show, if you have an idea for a guest, feel free to reach out via Discord. Drop a comment in the chat box. Go ahead and look at those. And again, thank you all for joining me. We'll go ahead and do this again. I think our next one's scheduled for Monday. We'll go ahead and have we have Bless scheduled to sort of just chat, get to know him,
Yeah, the
and
shamrock.
yes, the Shamrock. And with that, I part ways. I'll give you guys all a honk. We'll catch you all on the flip side.